as you all very well know, wreaths are my favorite craft to make, and since magazine wreaths go over so well, I thought I'd show you guys how to make a different one today. And this one is just paper loops, the same way I did for the Christmas tree last year or the year before. So yeah, what you need is a cutting mat, as well as a wreath base, which I have a video on if you don't know how to make one, a magazine, as well as an X-Acto knife, some sort of adhesive. I'm using a glue gun and glue sticks, like hot glue sticks, and a ruler, or just something straight. I'm using a ruler because it has a straight edge. So let's get started. Okay, the first thing you want to do is pick your papers. Obviously, you can use ones that have nice colors, like this red one, or just take them at random, which is really what I did. I just did a whole bunch of random. And then if you want them all to be the exact same size, you can measure them out. Mine were half an inch or I guess, is it half an inch? A centimeter. Just under half an inch, whatever. Anyways, yeah. So cut out a bunch of strips in that width, or any width you want, or randomly, not straight, not obviously straight, but not measured, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, that was a bunch of randomness. So then I cut all those in half to make shorter ones, and then I flip them into loops. So here is it again of how I did that in case you missed it. I don't know how to explain that. So yeah, and then just take your adhesive and glue the two pieces together. I like hot glue because it's instant. You guys know I'm all about the instant results, but you can use any sort of glue that you want. It just might take longer to dry. Then you want to take your wreath base that you've created. Mine's just using a cereal box. Blackie, what are you doing? Okay, and then I just went ahead and glued all of my loops down onto my wreath base. And what you kind of notice once the loops are made is that there's a part that kind of is like a really tight V where the two ends like overlap a bit. And you just want to place that right at the edge of the wreath so that, you know, the loop is on the air, I guess, like in the air, and so none of the cardboard shows through the loop. I don't know if that makes any sense. I try to make it make sense, but we're working with Jessica knowledge here, so, you know, or logic, I guess, not knowledge. Oh gosh. Okay, so once that is done, I just went around 2 more times actually and did 3 rows of loops, following the exact same steps the entire way around, just because I found that to be quite effective. And I made sure that when I did the next row, I kind of put them like in the middle of the other 2, like in the negative space, because that's how that works. And then the 6-inch strips, if you cut them in half, so I guess that would be 3 inches, you can make a smaller loop, which is what I did. So I just took them all, stacked them up, fold them in half, make a crease. Then I put the ruler right on the crease and cut along that edge with my X-Acto so that they'd all cut at once. Again, you could use scissors for this. I just didn't because I didn't. And then loop them the same way that you did the other ones. And then stick them down. So you should have 3 rows of big loops and 1 row of smaller loops on your wreath. Or I guess you could do is however many rows you want. If your wreath base is smaller, you could do less or more, I guess. Anyways, okay, then take some magazines and cut them into strips and then squares. And then I just put a bunch of glue down and I glued them on randomly all over. This I found just kind of like finished, I guess, the inside of it, because otherwise it's just like the loop sticking out, and this way it looks more like you meant to do that. You could also like rim it, line it with something, like put like beads around the inside, and then it would, you know, I don't know, whatever. You can do whatever you want, really. Anyways, that's the end of my wreath. It's done. So all I did now was attach something to hang it with, and I chose to use a ribbon, but you could use like string or embroidery floss or something. So I just made a loop the same way I'd been looping all of my paper for the entire process and glued that down and then stuck it onto the back, and I just made sure the loop was facing the other way, like the front of the loop was the part being stuck down, if that makes sense. Then I covered the back with glue just so that it would be extra securely in place, because I'm scared that everything's always going to fall apart. So I always use a lot of glue. Anyways, this is how mine turned out. I actually really like it. I tend to do different wreaths a lot to spice out our door, so I guess try it out for yourself and see what happens. Bye, guys!